Welcome back to Road to Victory. Round 4 begins with a mundane auction of pass and a weak 2 heart bid, all pass. So I'm faced with this tough opening lead problem and sort of like to narrow down my choices a little. I would never lead a trump from this auction. Jack Deuce it's just so likely to cost a trick, and also I would rather start trying to establish some of our tricks. So if I was going to choose between King Jack 4th and King Jack 3rd, I would routinely lead my longer suit just because West is more likely to be shorter in my longer suit, and so there's probably more pressure to get those tricks set up. So I'm left with the decision of should I lead an aggressive spade or a passive diamond, and I don't know what's right. I think it's probably pretty close, but I like to lead aggressively in this particular spot, so I led a spade, and we play third from even, low from odd, so I led the 7 because I have an even number. When dummy hit with 10 points, as you can see, it really flags raised in my head. My partner was a passed hand. I have 9 points and there's 10 in dummy, so that's 19. And Joel can't have more than 11. So I know that West, the 2 heart bidder, has 10 high card points. They might have 11, but they absolutely must have a minimum of 10 points. So let's see what happens. So my 7 of spade lead sees the queen come in dummy, and unfortunately the queen wins. Now Joel's 10 of spades. We play upside down attitude, and Joel doesn't know before he makes his choice of card that I have the Jack of spades. His number one goal is to express to me that if you get on the lead, he's talking to me, it's safe to play a spade from your king or it's not safe. And so he told me he did not have the Jack by playing the 10 of spades. It turns out I had the Jack and I knew it was safe anyway, but that's what his signal meant. So now Declarer ran the 9 of hearts around to my Jack. So again, now that tells me something. I now know that Declarer only has 1 heart on her, because with King Queen 6 they would obviously play Ace King Queen. So now I don't have any new information, so I definitely want to knock out the spade ace in case we have a spade trick. So I did, and Joel's 2 of spades actually told me that we play standard remainder count, which means because he's already played the 10 for attitude earlier, he now has a certain number of remaining cards. And in this case, his low one said he had an odd number. If he had played a high one, it would say he has an even number. So unfortunately, since he has an odd number remaining, it means that he started with 4, and Declarer is out. So now Declarer played a heart to the ace, and Joel played a clever card of the queen, which made sure that I knew that Declarer had the king and he had the queen. It was nice that it expressed the whole situation. He had information that he could give me. So I now know Declarer has ace of spades and the king of hearts. So they only have about 3, maybe 4 more points. They ran the 10 of clubs around to my Jack, and I started asking some questions. I asked the East what their opening bid style was, because I knew that he had 10 points at least. I wanted to find out exactly where they were on what system they play. So I asked him what their general structure was, and he wouldn't answer my question. They didn't have convention cards on the table, but he said that I was only allowed to ask a question about the auction that happened at the table, and that I'm giving my partner information by asking all these questions. And so he wouldn't give us the information, so we had to call the director, and the director informed him that I'm actually allowed to ask whatever I want, but my partner's not obviously not allowed to hear my questions or take advantage of my questions. So the guy then told me they played a Polish club, and that a 1 heart opener could be as light as 10. So really that didn't help me at all. And so now I just had to play a card. So I played a diamond because it looked safe. And now when I saw the queen come, I knew that Declarer didn't have the ace of clubs because they have the ace of spades, king of hearts, and the queen of diamonds. So Declarer now roughed a diamond back to their hand with the intention of drawing trumps, and they pulled partner's last trump with the king. And now when they let a low club out of their hand, I knew that my partner had the ace, so I was safe to play low. And at that stage, Declarer claimed making an over trick. And so my opening lead did cost us a little bit, and it cost us a trick, and it probably made us, I knew at the time, it probably gave us a bad board. So on to the next one. The way the guy handled the last board really left me with a bad taste in my mouth, but instead of focusing on a negative, I try to turn it really into a motivational feeling that I really want to get a good board and focus really hard on the next hand. So I picked up this awkward 16-point hand where when I open a club, my partner's gonna respond something, maybe a heart, maybe a spade, maybe a diamond. And no matter what they respond, I really have an uncomfortable rebid. So I decided that the best bid for my hand was 1-no trump, opening 1-no trump. My biggest flaw I felt for my 1-no trump was not the singleton king of diamonds, and it was not the 6-card suit. I think that those are both pretty good features for opening 1-no trump, but the biggest problem was I felt I was a little too strong for our range of 14 to 16. Anyhow, I really wanted to push this one pretty hard, and so I opened 1-no, and now the guy came in with 2 clubs, and there was no alert, and nothing was said, and my partner now made a free bid of 2 hearts, transferring to spades. Now there's a slight difference, it's important to note, between the strength required for this 2-heart bid compared to the one where it went 1-no trump pass. If it went 1-no trump pass, my partner's 2-heart transfer could be from 0 points, just a hand that they would rather have us play 2 spades than 1-no trump. Here, if partner's got a really bad hand, they could just pass 2 clubs out. So I know that my partner's got a little bit better hand than that they actually want to bid. It doesn't say that they want to invite game or anything, but they certainly want to re-enter the auction for our side. So over 2 hearts, West actually hesitated for a little while before passing, and I accepted the transfer to 2 spades, and West came through with their hesitation by balancing 3 diamonds. So now I felt like my hand was very strong offensively, something my partner could never obviously expect my extra distribution here. So, and I thought my hand was much better suited to be on offense than defense. So I bid 3 spades, and that ended the auction. So they led the 3 of diamonds, and Dummy hit with a pretty strong hand. Joel had 8 points, which might have been an invitational hand, and he actually hesitated over 3 spades. He was considering raising to 4, but he made what looks like a pretty good decision in not raising. On the top, it looks like we just have 3 losers, but it feels like when they make me rough in diamonds, I'm going to end up having an extra trump loser. So they led the 3 diamonds, which they had pre-alerted was that they lead low from doubletons. So they would lead low from a doubleton, but they would lead second from 3. So the 3 diamonds went to the ace, and my king fell. And they played back the queen of diamonds, which I roughed, and I see the 4. So now when they play 3-4, I really don't know yet if it's 3-4 doubleton or 4-3-2. They obviously, with the option available to them, they could either show the deuce or not. Here, their partner knows how many they have, so it's in their interest to just play the 4 and leave me guessing. So now, at the point where I roughed, now the guy starts giving me a hard time about opening 1-no trump with a singleton king, and so he calls the director again and says to the director, is he allowed? He's not allowed to open a no trump with a singleton, and the director asked us, well, do you do this a lot, or is this a partnership agreement that you can open with a singleton? And we said, we just play expert. We don't have a special agreement. We play sort of an expert standard style. We don't do anything different from anybody else in the room. We just, admittedly, not everybody would open 1-no trump with this particular hand, but there are some hands with singleton honors that people do open 1-no trump, and we don't have some agreements to figure it out, or we aren't expecting it. So the director said no problem, and we moved on. But the guy was definitely looking for trouble at our table. So now we're under time pressure, and I really didn't have too much time to think about my play. I don't want to be late, and so it looked like the heart finesse rated to be onside, since I knew that he had clubs and rated to have clubs and hearts. So I played a heart to the jack, and it held. Now I wanted to rough that other diamond, so I roughed the diamond, and now finally, unfortunately, he over-roughed with the king, and which didn't really hurt me, but now when he played the ace, I just had to hope that trumps were now 2-2. So he played back a club, and that won. And so I played the 10 of spades, and they were not breaking, and so I made 9 tricks, and that was the end of the round. We got our good board, and I was very happy about that. So hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you back next time.